press. It's good content.
Even if he's slapping.
Watch this. Listen, I'm talking about all the way around. Now, if you're slapping, then you're going to be out the content game. Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you how the other part go. Right? I'm a streamer. I make millions of dollars off reactions. Right? I make millions of dollars off the shock value. You know what my dream would be as a streamer? I would love for him to slap me, catch it on camera. This how I'm just trying to think how they would think. If Charleston White was sitting right here, what he'd say. He wants you to slap him, go viral on that. Then he gonna call the police on you and go viral on that. They winning all the way around. Guess who lose? The street dude. You know why the street dude lose? Because in his mind, he's not thinking how the streamer, the dude that want to go viral thinking. He's thinking one way, and that one way is to get cracking. But the streamer, the podcaster, you know what they thinking? Ooh, I'm fit to make some more money. Y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comment section, man. This is my boy K-Style.
All right. We're going to get started with the show in just a second. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of some context of what is going on here, right? So obviously, there's this rapper named Glasses Malone. He made a controversial song a while back called Tupac Must Die, right? And what's interesting about that, he comes from a gang or a neighborhood that was allegedly responsible for taking out Tupac, which is the South Side Crips of LA. Again, allegedly. We don't know if that's true or not. However, the controversy is something that he understands, right? So here's Adin Ross going out of his way to diss somebody of Kendrick Lamar's camp. I think her name is Dolce or something like that, right? Well, anyways, he goes and disses her, right? So what does Glasses Malone do? He goes and defends this woman, not because they're from the same gang, not because they're from the same neighborhood, not because they're from LA, which is the only thing that they both have in common together, but because she's a black woman, and he feels the need to go and defend his honor, her honor, in regards to that. Now, I have many opinions on that particular topic, but we're going to talk about that later on. So there seems to be a lot of death threats going on with this. Let's start from the very beginning in terms of what exactly is. Well, all right. Let's play this interview or this interaction between YouTuber Compton Rick Rock and the brother of Glasses Malone. Right? We're gonna go through that. I'm gonna get the thumbnails going and in the description going on this live stream, and we're gonna get it cracking in a bit.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on take edit. We're done.
I'm getting back on track with Factor. Fresh, new.
TV. Let's get to the content.
Your brother that finally went viral on social media, huh?
Yeah. Him and old Adin Ross.
What you think about it, man?
I'm up and down about it. You know, like, I kind of feel, I don't know the girl Dolce.
By the way, guys, like and subscribe. We're going to start this podcast going in just a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do right now is hit the thumbnail, get the thumbnail going, and the description going, and we'll go from there.
You know what I mean? That's my brother. So, of course, you know what I mean? If my brother got a problem, so automatically, he can't lose, you know what I'm saying? Because that's my brother. So I ain't going for no L's, but at the same time, I don't really know Dolce. And I don't know a whole lot about Adin Ross neither. You know, I know he a big streamer. He the one that did it with Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But outside of that, I'm up and down about it. I'm going to rock with my brother regardless. But, you know, man, niggas talk about girls every day. My brother, you know, he had an A.
All right, this is true. People do talk about other women all the time, right? Disrespect them, talk ish to them. But there seems to be a racial motivation for Glasses Malone to go after Adin Ross. Shout out to Victory, my man, right there. My man doing the little flex right there, the little flex emojis. How are you, man? I hope you guys enjoy this content. We're going to talk about Adin Ross getting threatened by an LA Crip. Now, how fun is that, right? A lot of the MMA and boxing people are probably wondering, well, why should we care about Adin Ross? Well, here's the thing, you should, because he's going to be a fight promoter. And as a result of that fight promotion that he puts out there, this is going to package in whatever he does, whether it's the Adam22 versus Jason Luv fight. This all correlates to that. When it comes to, let's say, Adin Ross pulling up another boxing match. Or, guess what? What if Glasses Malone decides to fly from LA to Miami, June 23rd it is, when that fight is going to be with Jason Luv and Adam22. He pulls up to Miami. He rolls up at Adin Ross and says, hey, what'd you say about Dolce or this and that? Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I don't like the idea that he wants to go and fight Adin Ross based on the fact that he disrespected a woman that he doesn't even know personally. A woman that's not even from the same gang as him, right? Because from what I understand, this woman, Dolce, is a member of TDE, which means she is a member of Kendrick Lamar's camp. And if you're a member of Kendrick Lamar's camp, guess what? You tend to be on the blood side of things, if you know what I mean, right? On the red team. So what politics does Glasses Malone have to do with Dolce? Well, the only politics that he's involved with Dolce is the fact that she's a black woman being disrespected by this Jewish white boy, as they perceive Adin Ross to be. And they see him as an outsider of the culture. So they're, you know what? Here's the thing. I just really don't understand what his beef is, other than the fact that this is great for his promotion. Right? That is the only thing that I could understand. If Glasses Malone was to meet with me in person and he was to say to me, yeah, you know, I did it for the black race or this and that, I would tell him straight up, no, you didn't. Let's be honest about this, bro. Let's be honest about this, cuz, you know, you did this because you knew that he was the guy that did a live stream with Donald Trump. By the way, weirdly enough, for Adin Ross, right? He goes and gifts Donald Trump a Tesla. And I'm thinking, why? It's really weird because you are not richer than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is way richer than you. I would, man, listen, have I bought gifts for people before? Yes, right? But they, you know, usually, well, let's just say this, right? I would not give a gift of worth anything to, let's say, a millionaire, or let's say one of these Sacramento Kings basketball players that I see around here, you know, on a daily basis, right? I would not, it would be weird for me to gift them anything. These are millionaires. If anything, gift me something. But that's the weird thing about Adin Ross, right? He goes and gifts Donald Trump a Tesla, which I believe has a MAGA vinyl, you know, coverings to it. And yeah, we're very weird, you know, behavior of Adin Ross. But that shows you the behavior of chasing clout, or increasing your awareness to the social media, you know, apparatus of things, right? Well, Glasses Malone is the same thing. Remember, this is a guy who made a song called Tupac Must Die. And in this song, it's brilliant storytelling. Because within this storytelling, I mean, it reminds me of like an Eminem type of song. You know, when Eminem has a lot of these songs that have a lot of storytelling elements to it, like Stan is a good example of that. Guilty Conscience that he did with Dr. Dre. There's a story element attached to it. And guess what? Glasses Malone happens to know Dre, Dr. Dre's family, not just from the street, you know, connection of things, but also just family side of things. So it kind of shows you the kind of influence that Glasses Malone has going on. There's this Eminem, Dr. Dre storytelling type of element that he is, yeah, that he is basically emulating in some kind of way. So that's what he did with his song Tupac Must Die. So what do these two men have in common? They know how to produce shock value, because you're a West Coast artist, you're a Crip that allegedly came from the same set that blew up Tupac, and then here you are, you got a song called Tupac Must Die, but it's a very interesting song because, well, all right, we're going to wait a bit. I'm going to tell you why that song is interesting, but for now, let's hear Compton Rick Rock. By the way, the real life Franklin, the real GTA the real life GTA version of Franklin. Compton Rick Rock, check out his channel. Very interesting stuff when it comes to street reaction in California, stuff related. And he's talking with the brother of Glasses Malone on this one. So wait until I get the thumbnails going, because the thumbnails are going to be shocking. Victory says, I don't understand how Adin, Neon, and all these dorky streamers are so popular. Okay, so I'm going to address that question right now, right? Actually, you know what? I'll address the reason why these guys are popular in a couple of minutes, right? For now, let's get to this. But I'm going to mark that question right now because, okay, so that message right there is going to get pinned. And yeah, we're going to talk about why that is, right? Why these dorky streamers are so popular. And the answer may shock you.
Where he gonna stand for our people more than, you know what I mean, individual little shit. So, I don't know, I'm up and down about it. You know me, I wouldn't, you know, Adin can say what he wanted. You know, I feel like she's an artist. She's a local artist at that, so that means she has people to speak up for her. My brother just didn't like it. I guess it rocked him the wrong way. And he said what he said.
All right, I'm going to play something for you that your brother sent me. This is a video that he sent me. Text this to me, and I think this might be the reason why he's upset. Let's play the video.
I'm going to go to Dochi tomorrow, and I got that dumb fat, so he's not fat, that dumb fat body, dude, that's stupid, smelly. She dropped from
Stop talking about the black queen.
I'm going to fuck none of that. Yo, let me just...
So this is the reason why, right here. This is the reason why Glasses Malone wants to get at Adin Ross. Right here, this audio you're hearing right here.
Right now, I'm mad because she made it, no bots. Look at her monthly listeners right now.
That's the black guy right there, right?
20 million. She blew up. From what? From making music. Cradling cock and balls? Like, what are you talking about? Why am I not lying, bro? Well, you're not.
All right, so that's a video. I'm not sure who the other guy is, but I guess he's a streamer too. He's also a black guy. And he was basically trying to tell Adin Ross, hey, man, we on my live. And I don't know what he might have said after the stream. Maybe he didn't want to say it on stream. You know, it's a big business. So a lot of people look at this stuff as business. And yes, we do have people that talk about women of all races. One thing we don't want to do, we don't want to make it a race thing, a black thing, a white thing, even though...
All right, so Isaac Morga says, hi. Hello, Isaac. Let me know what part of the world you are from. First time I've seen you here. Let me know what part of the world you are from. And you are very much welcome here. So... okay, so Compton Rick Rock just said, you know, we're not making this into a race thing. Well, here's the problem, right? It is a race thing because the reason why, first and foremost, Glasses Malone is going at Adin Ross is because of this reason alone, right? That is his only main reason of why he has decided to go after for Glasses Malone to go after Adin Ross. That is his only reason. And the reason is because he's racially motivated, right? And you're going to hear his brother say this later on. He's going to say something along the lines that, hey, you know what? My brother right now is at that age of, you know, being racially conscious, right? And this is often something that you see older gang members sort of develop later on in their life, right? They sort of become a lot more socially conscious, whether that's of their race or their religion. In this case, for Glasses Malone, it's, you know, race, and sometimes prison expedites that particular process, because in California prisons, it is primarily race orientated, right? The blacks go with the blacks, the Mexicans go with the Mexicans, and then there are some exceptions to that rule, considering the fact that you know, there are some Mexicans that, let's say, join Latino gangs, or black guys that join Mexican gangs, and so on and so forth. Sean Boyce says, great to see you again, bro. Yes, great seeing you as well. Isaac Morgan says, can I go to sleep now? Okay, well, I don't know if that's supposed to be some kind of shot at me or some kind of disrespect, you know, that you're trying to, you know, backhand compliment me with or backhand comment me with, but whatever. in any regard, please, remain respectful in here. That is, if you're trying to be disrespectful. If you're not, whatever. But, please watch where you're at, because, this is not a channel that tolerates disrespect in any kind of way. Especially not from somebody that doesn't even have a profile pic, let alone somebody that I don't know from a can of paint. So anyways, back on the thumbnails. I got this thumbnail going right now. Sean Boy says facts. Yes, that's right, my man. So this is a little exclusive of the thumbnail that I'm about to put up right now, right? Tupac Must Die wants Adin Ross to die. What do you guys think about that, right? Because that is essentially what this whole entire story is about, right? The guy who made the song Tupac Must Die wants Adin Ross, well, allegedly, right? And you're going to hear some things that he says about this particular matter. Imagine says, why you so angry, my man? I'm not angry at all. I don't understand exactly what you consider angry, or how you measure someone's anger through a screen. Now, if there's a brilliant way that you're able to do that, you're able to measure someone's anger. Like, for example, do you know what my blood pressure is in a current moment in time? What my resting heart rate is at the time? By the way, I have a very low resting heart rate. For those of you that don't know, I am like at what do you call it? I think in the 20s of my resting heart rate. So that means I'm an elite cardio athlete. And for those of you that have seen my live stream workout sessions here, I think that, yeah, he says, I think he's trolling you. That's fine. You can troll me, but at the same time, please understand that, I could just easily send you out to the shadow realm just like that. Because remember, it is you that wants to come and engage with me. I don't have to go and engage with you in any kind of way. I don't have to come here to any degree or anything. Well, actually, I do have to come here because guess what? This is now, another stream of revenue for me. So I'm going to treat it like a job. And, just like any job, you want to be the best at it to the best of your ability.
G is looking at it like it's a white guy talking about a sister. But
we don't know Adin and Doshi's possible off-camera dealings. I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know her. I don't follow a lot of new stuff, but I don't know her. So I don't know if Adin could be talking about something he know that he didn't put all the way out there. I don't know. All I know.
This is Mia. She wanted to take her brand nationwide. And with U.S. Bank Business Essentials, a combination of checking
is
better than Lance Armstrong, huh? He says, I think your whole channel is based on negativity. I think assuming you're angry is reasonable. Tank or Nothing says, your whole, okay, so you make a good point there, right? He says your whole anger is based on negativity. Here's something you got to understand, Tank or Nothing. Everything on the internet is based on negativity. I'm going to be honest with you, right? Nobody cares about positivity on the internet. I swear to you, if I could, not that I would do it because I'm Muslim, right? We're not supposed to post our charity. But if I was to do a video of, let's say, any charities allegedly that I would be involved in, then that would gain no views, I promise you. But here we are talking about Adin Ross getting threatened by a Crip member. And within 19 minutes, how many views so far did I get with this live stream within the 19-minute span? There it is, already up to 100 views, already, with this, right? Close to 100 views already, with this. Because guess what? Negativity attracts in ways that positivity just doesn't. That's just the reality of it. So this idea that you have, well, your whole entire channel is based on negativity, my man, everything in MMA, everything in YouTube, everything in this space, all revolves around negativity. And here's the thing, right? Let me take a look at who Tank or Nothing is. I'm going to take a look at who you are, right? Okay, so basically, you do have a profile pic on your channel, right? Obviously, you're not an active channel right? Not everybody has to be an active channel or anything like that, but at the same time, you know, at least you put your picture up. At least I know that you're not a coward to a certain degree. The point that I'm trying to make is that you're not a content creator. You don't understand what garners views, what gets views, or what hits the algorithm. And I'm sorry if you take that wrong in any kind of way, but you're just not a content creator, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people in here that are not content creators, right? A lot of people in here that are not content creators, but they are content consumers. So you as a content consumer, you don't even know what you want. You don't even understand that the reason why you even pulled up on my page is because, let's be honest, you're probably attracted to negativity as I am, right? You look at my entire YouTube feed. It's nothing but gangs, MMA, and if it's not about MMA, it's about the negative stuff about MMA, like Nina Drama, MMA Guru, all these other things that, you know, have nothing to do with the actual fighting in and of itself, right? That is just what we love to consume. And then how about the bombing of Iran, right? That's nothing but negativity. How about the capture of Maduro? You think there's some positivity to that, even though you see a bunch of U.S. servicemen celebrate, or even just, you know, a few Venezuelans celebrate? Yeah, but the negativity of it is there are people out there who have actually died in this war. Remember, there were airstrikes where civilians may have been affected, and now you have Venezuelan Americans having to go back to Venezuela to take care of their family or take care of some things that may be a problem as a result of what happened with, you know, the operations, right? So these are all negative things, but guess what? We tune in on them. And guess what? Adin Ross and Glasses Malone, they understand how to thrive on negativity. Do you not think that making a song that says Tupac Must Die, do you not understand how negative, you know, that is? You understand how negative that is, right? So as a result of that negativity, you must understand that people are going to be attracted to that. So let's take a look at the song Tupac Must Die, right? Let's take a look at how many views that is. Within the span of 6 years, 2.8 million. Right? That's the song right there. That the thumbnail, and then that's the song. That's the artist that we are talking about. And he obviously talks about this in No Jumper about 3 years ago.
Meet our TurboTax experts in person and let them do your taxes for you. Now this is taxes.
Well, rewind back to New West.
Yeah.
I thought you was I thought you went overboard when you had the Tupac Must Die shit.
Why?
And I was like, what the fuck this nigga talking about? You know, I'm like, it's just no slander on Tupac name. What are we doing here, bro? And I'm looking, I'm like, let me see, let me check it out, G. I'm like, I'm gonna check G out. It's the art form. Let me look at the video. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go art form. I'm really, you know, I'm like, G got Tupac fucked up. Why? You know, I'm like, you know what? All right, G, I'm gonna let you have that one, though, bro.
But
like,
why? What was wrong with it?
It's almost calling like, you know, my nigga. It's almost calling like Pac was not a real one. He was
never said that.
It was, you know what I'm saying? He was a mark. He got these niggas into
never
this shit.
said that.
I mean, we was insinuating this shit. I'm just
did not
reading to the video and this shit. Like, I'm like, I'm telling you how I felt. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he's just like, you know, I'm like, you know what?
I think that's just what you feel about what I'm saying.
And I'm looking at the video, I'm like, G low-key snitching too, cuz.
You can't snitch on the dead, man.
No, I mean, the whole video is just like,
how could you snitch?
I was
on
that
the
mad.
dead?
I was that mad. I was like,
look.
G snitching in the video. The nigga got the car, man. He did the whole crime scene. Yeah, you a cold nigga for
I had
that.
to paint that car to make it look new.
You a cold nigga for that.
All the way to
We
Vegas.
drove it to Vegas.
And back.
And back.
That motherfucker broke down when we got back.
Yeah.
That
And you
motherfucker
niggas
made-
was...
So he went as far as to use the exact car that allegedly was used to shoot Tupac, right, which was a white Cadillac. That's how far he went to make this song and this music video going, right? With the song Tupac Must Die.
In the video, fucking with this nigga was Drake.
I was right there, like, let's do it, nigga.
I didn't make that one.
I thought the shit was cool.
Don't fuck with that, yeah.
I thought the shit was cool. I'm like, you know what?
Tupac Must Die, though. But that's your legend. That's our West Coast legend.
And it don't change that he our legend. That don't change. He still is that nigga.
You would have did it to him.
Must
That's
die.
my point. No.
All right, so that's a good point that he's making, right? The premise of this song is for you to understand that, listen, this is the world of gangland and gangbanging, and as a result of that, it doesn't matter if you're Tupac. If you are on the other side, you're going to get hit up, and that is the entire premise and synopsis of his whole entire song, Tupac Must Die.
Let me ask you a question. Fuck all that. Hold up. If J. Cole and his homies come up in this motherfucker and stomp you out, you gonna be like, you know what? I love this nigga, man. He's my favorite rapper. I'm not gonna do nothing to him.
Hell no.
Then what?
No way. If J. Cole and his boys, first of all, I don't even know if J. Cole has the type of guys to do that in the first place. But he's right. If J. Cole was to come in there, stomp you out or beat you up, what are you going to do? Are you just going to act like, oh, you know what? These are my favorite rappers, or these are my favorite artists, so I'm not going to do anything? I'll tell you what, man.
What are you talking about?
I've known a lot of Team Alpha Male guys who have ran across Dominic Cruz or people from Team Alliance, because as you know, Dominic Cruz has had this long-standing beef with the people of Team Alpha Male, right? So as a result of that, there have been people that I know, I don't want to mention any names, right, for no incriminating reasons, but, you know, they've gotten into it with some Team Alliance guys all across California. They didn't look at these guys like, oh, you know, there's such and such over there from Team Alliance. And for those of you that understand MMA, you know some of the big names that are Team Alliance. You're looking at these guys like they're the ops. I don't give a damn about being a fan of your work all throughout these years. Now you are in my circumference. Now you are an enemy of mine. Now you are an enemigo. Now you are a potential target. Now you are a potential threat. We got to get down where we're mad at.
I might squabble him when I see him. I'm not going to gun him down.
So if all them niggas come in and stomp you out, you going to just squabble with it. I need to hear that.
I'm going to go get back my homies and we go.
And do you understand that is the premise that Glasses Malone was trying to say with the Tupac Must Die song, right? The premise that he was trying to make was that I don't care if you're Tupac. I don't care if you're Bob Marley. I don't care if you're the friend of the President of the United States, which is the case that is going on right now. If you really think about it, Glasses Malone is a pure example of what you call iconoclastic. Okay? Think about that. By the way, I'm going to address what you had asked earlier, Victory, right? Why people like Adin, Ross, Neon are so popular, yet they are so dorky. I'm going to get to that in a second. I have some psychological reasons behind that I think you would find very intriguing if you guys stay tuned to the show.
You gonna do my thing.
And then you gonna squabble it.
And it's
you gonna lie in here. You know how many jokes niggas go after? You know what my text gonna look like?
Just hold it up like that.
I
mean, it could go anywhere though.
Hold up.
It could go anywhere.
Not from today. You from 10 years ago when we first started talking all the time and fucking around. 10 years ago, that's what you're doing. You
10 years ago, I'd have sparked everybody down.
Then what are we talking about?
I mean, we talking about Tupac, though, cuz we not supposed to be talking about what I would have did.
But I'm saying, it's J. Cole. What if people be like, man, it's J. Cole?
I'd have sparked J. Cole ass down.
The Pope.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's just, people wasn't just used, I wasn't used to it. I ain't never, heard nobody speak of his name in or put his name in a bad light.
But it's not a bad light.
The title alone is a bad light.
No, it's not.
It's just
J.
Tupac
Cole
Must Die.
He must die based off our culture.
I mean, he could die based.
There it is. So he said he should die based on our culture. Let me explain what that means, right? I don't tolerate disrespect from anybody, not from none of you trolls, not from anybody in person. If you disrespect me, guess what? I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say to you, say something now, right? Say something now, because I don't tolerate any disrespect. Boom! I would slap you. Boom! Right? Boom! 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 That's what I would do to you. That's what I would do to you in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, if you disrespected me in any particular way, in a heartbeat, I would end you. I would end your entire existence. I would end your whole entire bloodline. I would end everything that you stand for. That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So you tolerate no disrespect from anybody, right? Not the person down the street, not your neighbor, not the guy that pulled up on you in traffic. You get down where you're mad at. You understand? That's how this goes. So that is the message that he's trying to convey with that song.
No, he gotta die, because the text I'm gonna be sending you by J. Cole fucking you over, it's gonna be legendary.
I mean, I'm gonna have to get back at
Cole.
He talking about J. Cole, he gonna be mad at me.
Imagine them text. Hold on, J. Cole my lover. Oh, J. Cole just puts you out, huh? That's what's happening. That's what we do.
One thing about us niggas, we love them.
Especially LA niggas.
We not.
I felt so, and what's crazy is when I came with
blast.
the idea, people thought it was about slandering Tupac. I really went out of my way to make sure I didn't. I really didn't let it be no disrespectful words, didn't call him out his name. I literally was like, I need to tell our story.
He's absolutely right about that. That is exactly what he did when that was going on, right? He literally kept it within that script. The script of, all right, you know what? I'm not going to say anything disrespectful about Tupac. He didn't. He was very objective in that song and what he was talking about.
I need to tell our story at the highest level. All these niggas trying to be involved. Let me tell our story at the highest level. I really went out of my way to not be disrespectful. These was the boundaries of me pushing. Like, okay, this ain't that bad. This ain't that bad. Okay, cool. I pulled back. So to hear that people felt like, man, you went too far. I'm like, well, what did I say? And Dre, nigga, I'm arguing with Dre for 2-3 hours. Dre still talks about that shit. I'm like, bro, why the fuck is wrong with y'all?
It's just, it was just the title. Niggas didn't even look at the video, the art form, and just even look at and hear the music in its entirety. It was just Tupac Must Die, and that we stopped there.
Fuck that on Twitter. What it say on Twitter?
And that's true. You see, a lot of people, sometimes they don't even watch the video. They just see the title and then they comment. There's a lot of that going on. It doesn't matter. You're going to help engage that in a way where you're going to get the other people clicking on it and watching it anyway. But there's a lot of bozos that come on my come on my comment section that talk about what do you call it? That talk about subjects that are within the thumbnail, but not the subjects that was talked about in the video. Because a lot of people are intellectually lazy. That's the only reason why.
Feel me?
Tupac deserved to die on Twitter.
That
they went
crazy, bro.
They went crazy on that.
How did you feel about that, though, the first time you seen and heard that?
Well,
You thought I was crazy.
yeah, when he first brought it, what was crazy is he brought it up to us before it actually, because, G had come up with concepts before he write it. So one thing about what people don't understand, that's why they think he be trolling, everything that he do is well researched. He's already did the studying and all that. That's why he can talk about it the way he talk about it. And people be thinking, nah, this nigga like a contrarian or something, like he trolling. But it's like, nah, the nigga didn't thought it through. So you're not going to be able to really even debate him on it like he already had it. But when he first came to me, I'm like, yeah, that sound kind of crazy. Because you're already thinking about how people going to react to it, really. But when you really listen to the story and you really understand.
Just like how you actually really watch the video and watch the context behind what they're talking about.
What the culture is and what come with what it is that Tupac participated in, you totally get it.
Oh, what is this? Sean Boy says, what's going on in Venezuela at the moment with Donald Trump? I'm confused about. He's not in custody in America now. Probably in a facility. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. Some more comments here. He says, Go Samurai says, the Ireland against England, or Ireland that bows to. He's like, let's go, Sean. I really want to train with Kyrie. Okay. Ma'am says, are you related to Oro? Okay, yeah, the Dagestani fighter. He says, go to the Bay Area. Okay, Cali is not that cold, Sean. Yes, I need to move out to Cali. You'll love Cali. says Ghost Samurai. It's so damn cold here at the moment. Nation Israel, Iran was great for. Why won't you Google let me talk about Israel on here? Huh, interesting. I didn't know that they do that. He says, sitting outside on YouTube, a helicopter hovered over my home, me sitting outside. Oh, wow. Okay, Sean, I have some law enforcement officers from Fulton County Police Department, GBR. Okay. And then, oh, okay, yeah, you're that guy that, you know, yeah, he says, I'm not a fan at the police. Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not a fan of the police, but you know what? I tell you what, you know what's interesting about boxing and MMA gyms? That's actually where you see a lot of people, such as street dudes and cops train, you know, in the same place. He says, Sean Boy, in March, I sat on my front steps crossing a BB gun. Okay, the sheriff said that they received a call 2 hours later, drove by, and I had to stop him so I could go to jail. Wow. Okay, instructing Krav Maga to law enforcement officers. He said,
what did Dr. Dre, what was that conversation?
Oh my God.
Please tell me about this conversation with Dr. Dre.
Dre was like, Glassy, man, you my little nigga, man. Why would you say fuck Tupac? First off, sir, I've never said fuck Tupac.
So this is him saying that Dr. Dre called him after making this song.
Tupac Must Die.
Crazy as fuck.
That's all I need. That's fuck Tupac, his mama, everybody, the daddy. I'm like, damn.
That's really how motherfuckers took it, though.
Yeah, to this day.
I heard this older black lady explain to me, hearing is a bodily function, and listening.
All right, so if you want to listen to the rest of that, go check out the No Jumper, you know, version of that. All right, let's hear what, let's see what Adin Ross said about this this woman right here. Let's see here.
You know I'm a Jew. For me, you know I'm a Jew. You know what to do. He's sure bitches that wanna fuck on a Jew. Don't cheat. 30 bitch partner views. 30 bitch partner views. 30 bitch partner views. 30 bitch partner views.
Why is he on Doechii? Like, bro, what did Doechii do to Adin, bro? Because, bro, I've been seeing him going off of her these past few days, bro. What did Doechii do to him?
You know I'm a Jew. For me, you know I'm a Jew.
What?
He said, you know I'm a Jew, beef with me, you know I'm a Sioux. What the F? All right, let's hear Adin Ross.
Listen, I'm doubling down, bro. Doechii, you're a horrible musician. You suck at music. That's why you fell off and you're coming at me, a streamer.
Doechii, he's hating. You won Grammys for a reason.
Man, it was a rigged-ass Grammy. What the fuck? You can't name me 3 Doechii songs right now. Besides the one she sampled. 3.
Anxiety.
That's the one she sampled. So, name 3. You can't do it.
He can't do it. All right, maybe he's proven a point there. Ghost Samurai says then to Fiat count. Okay, you guys are talking about a whole different subject. Okay, go ahead.
Throwing ass in
You know why? Exactly, that's what you're known for. You're known for throwing ass. Listen, I'm doubling down, bro. Doechii, you're a horrible musician.
All right, so what else did he say crashes out on Doechii? Let's hear
Adin
this.
Ross just crashed out on Doechii.
Don't get me started on that bit. Fuck Doechii, the umbrella clip pissed me off. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro.
Doechii is currently receiving a huge backlash for yelling at her crew at the Met Gala.
Be another boat. Stop. Be another umbrella. Now. Another one. Right there. And another boat. I need another one. Another umbrella. I need more fucking umbrellas. Move these umbrellas. I don't want these people fucking seeing me. Forgot it. Move the umbrella.
Adin Ross just crashed out on...
Yeah, Ghost Samurai says, seems law enforcement is afraid of me. My boy, listen, you do not want the law enforcement to be afraid of you because they're going to find ways to not be afraid of you, if you know what I mean. You know, yeah, that is not the position you want to be in. Trust me when I tell you, right? You don't want to be a threat to the cops, but at the same time, you also don't want to be a pushover to them as well, right? And, yeah. I don't know how else to, you know, really explain that. All right, let's hear what else.
Doechii, the umbrella clip pissed me off. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro. I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel, why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it. She's just the worst. She's a piece of shit. She stole someone that I used to know. She makes no good music. She's horrible. Why the hate? Because I don't like her talking down on workers like that, bro. That's not cool. Doechii is a industry plant. She's a fucking horrible industry plant. So fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Okay? She has...
All right, so let's hear what else did he These are a lot here. Okay, so.
Speaking of Adin Ross, did you see what's been going on with him versus Doechii?
Oh yeah, him and the whole Doechii. Listen, man.
And him 6ix9ine and the diss track at Doechii. Doechii actually responded to everybody calling her a industry plant and everything. That's what sparked this whole thing.
Yeah, right.
And then
she said that first.
And then Adin Ross, we were on stream talking crazy, and then they ended up making the song. And also there was a platform out in LA who was talking to Adin, was like, listen, Adin, you talking too crazy. Like, you're hard to touch, but we gonna start pressing people around you and everything. And Adin responded to that, said, well, if you try to come at me, you'll get arrested. And then right after that, he called Whack 100.
There it is, right? He said that if you try to get at me, you're gonna look. There are some people that you should not beef with just based on the fact that they'll call law enforcement, right? And I tell you what, man, listen, there's some people that I beefed with, I know for a fact they're not going to call anybody, right? So, you kind of have to keep it in-house like that. He says, I'm surprised you're talking about this crap with all the geopolitics going on. Well, here's the thing, right? We're also going to talk about that, but you got to understand also, this is what is in the algorithm of the internet right now, Adin Ross, right? Now, I'm going to address to you exactly what you asked earlier, right? Why is it that Neon, Adin Ross, and all these wimpy, nerdy dudes are big streamers? Well, here it is, Marty. Here's the reason why. The majority of men out there are wimpy. The majority of men out there are bitches. The majority of men out there can't fight, right? And as a result of that, they're going to look at somebody like Adin Ross as somewhat more relatable than Sean Strickland, more relatable than me, more relatable than even Israel Adesanya, even with a little bit of his zesty moments. The fact is the dude can fight. Neon, Adin Ross, and all these other dudes, they've never done anything truly physical in their life. So they can relate to that. They can relate to that. Now, what about Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed? I mean, you look at IShowSpeed, he looks like a very athletic guy, right? But he's also black, and that kind of gives him a certain level of privilege because he's in a white boy lane, but with huge black supporters, not only from black America, but also, black British kids, black people that live in France. You could also extend that to Africa. So this is, the global trajectory that particular streamer has. And then Adin Ross, his reach is with a lot of the wimpy guys out there that could never relate to people like me and you. He says, I know bro's got a plan for the tower. I don't understand what you mean by that. Okay. He says, beer bottle, not broomstick, broken over my head, can take me off my feet. Nothing folds a demon. My grandfather knew Queen Elizabeth of England personally. Wow, okay. How was that? How did that come about? He says, laughing my ass off. Do you guys know how many humans I've dropped? I challenge law enforcement agencies monitoring online to pull up because I'm bored. I want entertainment. Yeah, listen, you sound like a crash out dummy samurai. I'm going to be honest with you, right? You sound like the type of dude that's, very reckless for whatever reason. But all right, anyways.
For backup to help him, and Wax said, I'll handle it.
Oh, she turned it very racial, very quick. I was like, what? I'm like, I guess, like, that's not at all what he was saying, but.
Yeah, so apparently this is racial right here, right? But let's hear why.
Yeah, right. Like, say you was an industry plan. Like, you got a lot of success out of nowhere, and nobody really knew who you was, and out of nowhere you winning Grammys. It was kind of like, felt like you got implanted into the game, and then she responded how she responded, and then they going back and forth. But honestly, I think it's all goofy. Like, at the end of the day, because, like, he just had an opinion.
Go Samurai. I think you're a Fed, bro. I honestly think you're a Fed, right? Why? Look, I'm going to have to erase that comment that you said right there, right? I think you're a Fed, bro. I honestly think you are a federal agent. I'm not going to get rid of you. I'm just going to get rid of that comment that you said. Look, I think you're a federal agent, to be quite honest with you. But I'm just going to be very clear about this. You know, I am a law-abiding citizen. I pay my taxes. You know, I make money the legal way, and yeah, you know, that's all there is to it. But anyways, I think you're a Fed, Ghost Samurai. You're either a Fed or you're either a crash out dummy, or you are you're an informant, right? Like, yeah, they always pull the race card. Yes, because here's the thing, right? Think about why Glasses Malone is going after Adin Ross. He's going after him because he went after a black woman. Okay, well, is this black woman a Crip? No, she's not, right? Because that's significant because Glasses Malone is a Crip. So this is not your fellow gang sister. This is not your fellow label mate sister. She works with Kendrick Lamar, right? And most of the people that are employed in Kendrick Lamar's camp are mostly West Side Piru Bloods, right? The same gang, by the way, that Tupac came from. But that's a side story for another reason. So he has no ties to this woman other than the fact that she's a black woman, right? And that this Jewish white boy is somehow, you know, dissing her or, you know, saying disparaging things about her, but has never mentioned anything about her race. Now, here's the thing, right? Adin Ross did fire back at Glasses Malone saying something, don't you guys have kids to take care of, which sort of has a little bit of a racial undertone behind it, right? Meaning that the racial undertone about it is saying that black men don't take care of their kids, right? This is basically what they're perceiving Adin Ross to be saying. Talking about, oh, don't you have multiple baby mamas or this and that? I mean, just the classic stereotype that you would throw at somebody who comes from the hood culture. So essentially, that is what Adin Ross is being accused of at this moment. See, Glasses started off as making it racial, and Adin Ross only elevated it into, well, I hate to sound like a liberal, right? But, you know, a bit of some, you know, a racial microaggression. And I know a lot of white dudes, they hate that whenever somebody brings up anything about being racist or somehow this and that. Now, look, here's the thing, right? I honestly think that in white America, it is a natural reaction that I think many white Americans are taught to have as to dismiss anything that is racist. Oh, you know, what's racist? How can anybody be racist? I live great in this country. I'm rich. I live in a suburban neighborhood in a white picket fence. You know, I got 2 car garages, this and that. You know, and I made it all by myself because I'm the man, and I believe in rugged individualism, rigid individualism, and I got everything done because of me. This is what the majority of white Americans are taught to be like. I swear to you. And I'm saying that, you know, with a true honesty, just like how I equally criticize hood culture as much as I criticize white America. Because guess what? I am the race whisperer, and as the race whisperer, I know how to understand the difference of diaspora that deals with these communities, and this is a fact. The problem with that, though, is that you have blind spots. You have blind spots towards racism, right? For example, if let's say a random black kid walks into your beautiful $1 million neighborhood, right? He's just walking around. Maybe he has a skateboard. Maybe he's there visiting a homie that lives by or whatever. And then you as a white man, you go and you stop him, right? Why? Well, guess what? The white people that are going to sympathize with that white man in this hypothetical story of this black kid walking around this $1 million neighborhood, they're going to sympathize with the white guy in terms of saying, well, this is a matter of security procedures. Oh, you know, just understanding. No, it's because he's a black kid. If he was, let's be honest, if he was a white kid who looked like Uriah Faber in his prime with long blonde hair and blue eyes, you would not even care. Be like, okay, you know what? That looks like it is a natural thing to see this blonde-haired white kid skateboarding around in this $1 million neighborhood. But maybe you don't have this mindset, but understand there are white people that have this mindset that when they see a kid who's black with braids that does the same thing that the white kid does on a skateboard in that $1 million neighborhood, you better believe that there's going to be some biasness towards that. And here's the thing, guys. I'll reveal something to you. I have certain biasness about me as well. If I'm out in public, I don't want to mention, you know, what group or whatever, but you better believe there is a certain group that I'm looking out for if I'm out in public. You know what? Are these dudes strapped? Are these dudes, ready to get down? Are these dudes from a gang? Are they from, this, that, and the other? Victory says, is that bias somewhat justified, though? Well, I'm glad that you asked that, because remember, the latter that I just said, right? I told you that I have my own biasness when I'm outside, right? If I'm, okay, for example, if Kendrick Lamar was to come to Sacramento. I know Kendrick Lamar is touring out in Australia right now, right? Which is great, because I tell you what, man, if I was to go to Australia in a Kendrick Lamar concert, well, all right, let me ask you this, Marty. Let me ask you this, and I need you to answer this quickly, right? What place, because Kendrick Lamar is in Australia right now, okay, and he also does shows out here in Sacramento and LA. He did the pop out in LA. Which, by the way, is a whole different dynamic, because it was a whole bunch of gangs that were there, but they were all gangs that were cool with each other, right? But let's say you go to a neutral place like Sacramento. What's safer to go to a Kendrick Lamar concert? Australia or Sacramento? Answer the question right now. What is a safer place to go to a Kendrick Lamar concert? In Australia, where he's at right now, or when he comes back here stateside and does a show in Sacramento? Australia. There it is. Why? Because if you were going to come out here to a Kendrick Lamar concert in Sacramento, you got Bloods that fight with other Bloods, and I know this for a fact because there's one side of that Blood gang that I'm really cool with, right? They funk with other Bloods. There's Crips fighting with Crips. There's Bloods fighting with Crips. And vice versa. And then there's Norteños fighting with Sureños, what they call upstate Sureños, right? Usually the Southsiders that live in Northern California. So there's everything going on here, right? So, of course, if I was to go to Australia, now keep in mind, there's also Arab gangs in Australia. There's also Lebanese gangs in Australia. But here's the thing, even if I was part of anything in California, these Arabs and these local Samoans that are out there, they're not going to look at me like, oh, that's such and such from wherever. You know what I mean? They're going to look at me like, all right, he's an American foreigner. He's here to see an American artist in Australia as an American tourist. We're not going to mess with him. And that goes for the same thing if, let's say, there were a bunch of Australian gangsters that were to go to a Kendrick Lamar concert in Sacramento, right? All these Samoan guys with, tribal tattoos or whatever. All these Lebanese guys with, gang tattoos from Sydney, Australia. We don't know these dudes from a can of paint. We'll just look at them like, all right, they're Australian tourists trying to see a Kendrick Lamar concert in Sacramento. But if you are who you are, or if you're a local and you know and understand the politics here, there is a certain group of people that you're like, man, you know what? I need to watch out for these dudes, especially those dudes over there with dreads. I got to make sure that they're not strapped. Those Mexican dudes over there with, with shaved heads and 13 tattoos on their head, or 14, I got to watch out for them. That's the reality of the world. So, yeah, I understand there's a certain biasness, behind that. But then also, when I go back to the example that I made, if you were to see, a black kid with dreads in your $1 million neighborhood, there are white people out there that are unjustifiably going to look at that kid as like somewhat of a threat. Now, here's the thing. Because I know a lot of black people, guess how I would look at that black kid that's walking around your neighborhood? I would be like, this dude is a nerd. This dude is a nerd. There is no way this dude is a gangbanger. There is no way this dude is a robber. There is no way this dude is a shooter. There is no way this dude would do anything to you. Because I understand the different classifications of black people, right? I've seen them in the suburbs. I've seen them in the hood. So I understand what is what when it comes to the different diasporas of these, of these racial, cultural norms. If that makes any sense, right? But the average white man, unfortunately, they don't have my experience, right? Even though I live in the same neighborhoods as affluent white people, a lot of them that I've talked to, they don't have my experience, right? Because I mean, look, I've had a very interesting lifestyle, a very interesting life trajectory, right? That only Allah has, provided me for in terms of trying to test me, in terms of making me stronger, and also just helping me with what it is that I need to face in whatever it is that I'm facing in my private life, right? So that's what it is. Clearest Place says, still amped up, relax, man, enjoy the day without your blood pressure going up. Yeah, I don't understand what it is that you are referring to of me being up. I mean, look, I think that you just maybe don't understand how a man with high testosterone operates. See, if you're a man with high testosterone, right, sometimes you tend to talk a little bit loud. Sometimes you tend to talk with strong confidence. You tend to talk with assurance, right? I'm sorry that is not something that you are used to seeing, right? But you mistaken it as aggression. You mistaken it as being amped up. But you also mistaken it for the fact that maybe I'm just passionate about what I talk about, because I have had different experiences in life. And as a result of those experiences, I'm very passionate about conveying it to the world and the audience that, I have to do that with. He says, do you ever get weird looks on your neighborhood? Of course, because you have to remember, right? I'm 40 years old. I've been a homeowner since I was 34 years old, right? No, scratch that. 32 years old. So 8 years, right? So I look young, okay? I look young at 40. I look even younger at, I still look the same, honestly, right? I don't think I look any more younger or older than, when I was in my 30s or 20s. I think I look rather the same, but I look young compared to these other people here, that are a little bit older. Ghost Samurai says, I bought my first home at 26. Yeah, bro, but that's Georgia. You bought your home in Georgia. I bought my home in California. Okay, we're in a completely different, tax bracket, my boy. He says, I'm 45, haven't worked since 31. Okay, that's awesome, man. So it sounds like maybe you're either retired or had some sort of medical compensation from your work, or maybe a combination of both. But yeah, he says, Ali Khan says, damn, bro. Damn, bro, in reference to what, my man? Let me know. But yeah, so I hope that that's some good clips we just made right there, right? We talked about dynamics of race realism, right? And and I hope that it didn't offend anybody. That's not my intention. Sometimes these things can get misconstrued, but obviously I have no hate for anybody. I have no animosity for any. I love everybody, bro. What dude do you know can, hang out with, rich white dudes and hood black dudes all in the same day, right? Only the race whisperer can do that. Ghost Samurai says, bro, my uncle is a Chief Justice Supreme. Oh, okay, in Nigeria, oil, money, inheritance. Okay, so you're Nigerian. Okay. He says, bro, you're a savage. By the way, just to kind of correct your English, when you say you are, okay, you're, apostrophe R-E. Okay, but anyway, small suggestion, especially since the sauna incident. Oh yeah, where I told that girl to shut up, right? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Ali Khan, yeah, you've seen the sauna. Yes, when I told that girl to shut up. I told her to shut up. By the way, afterwards, I was confronted and talked by the manager of 24 Hour Fitness. So let's just say that they're all on my side, right? They're all on my side because there's a lot of weirdos out there, right? A lot of people. Listen, guys, this is what I'm trying to tell you, right? when you see somebody with high testosterone, okay, he says, was that in your last training live? Yes, it was. You know, I told her to shut up, you know what I mean, in front of everyone. You know, I told her, I'm like, because she was saying that I was talking all loud, because I was talking with you guys, right? You know, I was talking with you guys in the chat, so yeah, I told her to shut up. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, shut up when an Arab man is talking to you. That's right. That's right. You know, shut up when the Arab man is talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, sometimes I got to bring that out of me, right? You know, I got a little bit of a hood side to me, but at the same time, I really have a bit of that, you know, Arab snob flair to me that I really need to bring out to enhance my villainous persona. Sean Boy says, do you think you will ever meet any of your subscribers in real life like me even? Inshallah, dude, that would be awesome, bro. That would be awesome. You know what? I think the algorithm is very intelligent, right? Like, they understand the type of people that you are. They understand the type of people that you are, and this is the reason why we're all brought here, you know, together, right? Marty, you know, always will tell you that how he ran across my channel was one of my live training sessions, and the fact that Marty trains with real people, real fighters, and you know, and a real gym. You know, he understands the value of you know, of what real training looks like, right? Because there's a lot of dudes out there that claim they train MMA or they do MMA, but in reality, you know, when you see their type of workouts outside of an MMA gym, it's like all bodybuilding workouts or just normie workouts with, you know, with no correlation to the actual movements of the fight. You know, so okay, so naturally he's going to be attracted to this type of algorithm, right? You know, same thing with you, Sean Boy. You're an Irish guy. You know, my uncles were warlords in Libya. You know what I mean? So that means they were strapping up the Irish to fight the British. So it is no wonder that, you know, I have a lot of Irish people that pull up here, right? I think with Zayn, Zayn also kind of helped me get a bit of a British boxing audience, not so much of a British MMA audience, but more of a British boxing audience. So that helps too, right? You know, but yeah, man, I inshallah, that would be beautiful, you know, to see that one day, to see my subscribers. You know, if Marty was to ever be in Sacramento and he says, hey, I'm pulling up here, you know, rest assured, you know, I'm gonna go where he's at and you know, maybe have a cup of coffee and then you know, maybe even a training session as well if time permits. But of course, man, that would be lovely. That would be wonderful, and I'm looking forward to that day with any of you, right? Both positive and negative, because I know there's going to be. Well, here's the thing, right? Even the people that talk smack online, okay, they're going to be fans in person. Oh, hey, Kyrie, what's up? You know, this, that, and the other. But in reality, you know, they feel comfortable saying that here, because here's another thing too, right? The reason why a lot of people hate other people is because other people have convinced you to hate them. And sometimes for the positive and the negative. Take, for example, when Ja Rule, his whole entire career got ruined by 50 Cent. How did that happen? Well, here comes 50 Cent going around dissing everybody in the industry, right? He was like the original EBK, everybody killer mentality, right? Went after Jay-Z, went after Big Pun, went after all these legends that seem like, oh my God, you can't go after these sacred cows of the rap game. And 50 Cent was like, man, I'm not going to have none of that nonsense. I'm going to get down where I'm mad at and, you know, fire off on everybody, including Ja Rule. So 50 Cent became this guy that you don't want to mess with because you don't want to be his victim, so you want to be on his side. And then the more that he dissed Ja Rule, you're like, wow, man, you know what? I don't want to get in this guy's bad side, so yeah. He says, yeah, bro, I will come to America someday, eventually, next few years at most. Okay. Not even a year, I would say the next few months at least. Okay, okay. Yeah, man, the Irish and the British are very well traveled, right? So I know a homeboy of mine in Manchester right now, Mark Hansen, he's in Thailand right now, right? So, you know, a lot of these dudes from Manchester, Liverpool, they're always in Thailand, right? And sometimes for other reasons as well that I can't mention here, but guess I can't share street fight encounters without it being hidden. I don't know, man. I mean, look, Look, here's the thing, Ghost. You know, let me explain something to you because you're a crash out, right? You're an absolute crash out. You can't say everything that you want to say on a chat, and I'm not the one who's, you know, doing that. I'm not the one who's, you know, I don't know. I mean, obviously, none of the moderators are doing that to you, but you got to watch what you say, man. You know what I mean? All this stuff about, you know, the boys are watching you or monitoring you or this and that. You know, what is the point of you doing that? I mean, really, what is the point of you doing that other than just to create some kind of distraction and also some sort of nefarious, you know, narcissistic endeavors that you have going on to fulfill whatever void you're looking for? Anyways.
And then she got offended, as she should, as she has every right to. And then he goes off the tear and just like, all right, well, fuck that bitch. Like, quite literally is what he said. It was like, fuck that bitch, Doechii. And I'm like, all right, that's not a good look. That's not going to go over well. Like, I think it's stupid. And Doechii is also part of TDE, and TDE is very gangster. And you might want to watch it from him out. You can call Wack 100 all you want, but TDE is not the player.
And that shit alone. Speaking of Adin Ross, did you see what's been going on?
All right, so let's go with how he dissed Glasses Malone.
Oh, well, if you do come to me and you do try to get at me, I'm going to have you arrested, sir.
Like, even in his fucking thing, he like, you know, I'm just gonna call the police. Police come after crimes, man. So when I slap you up and I do something to you, they coming after. What the fuck make you think if I'm saying this on this fucking camera? Nigga, I'm not running. I'll be right there when they show up. I done been to jail for selling drugs, punching on shit, all kind of shit. And I was just fine in there. You think I'm not gonna go to jail proud that I slapped your stupid ass in the face because you keep calling this black lady a bitch?
Hit the notification bell, comment, like, and subscribe. That's That-Kid TV.
So then your next step is to call Wack. Your next step is to call Wack. Because you think Wack, that's your man. Wack is not gonna stop me from doing what I want to do. That's just not the relationship. He's not. He know I'm gonna move on whatever I'm supposed to move on the right way. So he can talk to me. It makes sense. He's not gonna stop me. Nobody on the web.
Right, because for those of you who don't know, Wack 100 is this guy, right? So after Adin Ross is being threatened by this guy, Glasses Malone, he goes and calls this guy right here, Wack 100, the manager of the game, and Blueface. Obviously, used to be a former employee of Suge Knight with Death Row Records. That was when Death Row Records was falling apart, right, in the early 2000s. But yeah, so anyways, he's saying that, you know what, nothing is going to stop me from getting at this guy, even if this guy right here is making sense of saying, well, you know what, you could get arrested. You know, he's friends with the president, so you're kind of dealing with, you know, a Charlie Kirk type of figure. And then on top of that, you know, he'll call the police. And then he's Jewish, so, you know, he could easily call the IDF on you. All types of things that he would probably say to him. He says, I don't think so, Ghost. He says, I'm familiar with how YouTube scene works. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's nice. That's nice, Ghost. Thank you.
That's not Wack, not Big U, not Top Dog. Nobody is going to stop me from doing what I'm supposed to do because they know I'm doing the right things. So he could say, hey, G, and I don't know, this could get you in trouble. The difference with me and most of the people, I got no reason to, I don't get, like, even in his thing, he like, you know, I'm just going to call the police. Police come after crimes, man. So when I slap you up and I do something to you, they're coming after. Wouldn't it make you think if I'm saying this on this camera, I'm not running. I'll be right there when they show up. I done been to jail for selling drugs, punching on all, and I was just fine in there. You think I'm not going to go to jail proud that I slapped your stupid ass in the face because you keep calling this black lady on this thing in front?
All right, look, you know, he had me there until when he says, because you're going after this black lady or this and that. Who cares, bro? Like, look, here's the thing. I understand if Adin Ross was to diss your neighborhood, he didn't do that. I was to understand if Adin Ross was to diss you personally, he didn't do that. He didn't even know you. But I understand, right? Look, I understand standing on business, but it doesn't mean I'm always going to agree with the reason. Now, look, if Adin Ross was to disrespect me in any kind of way, would I go after Adin Ross in this same matter? Yes, I would. But he's going after Adin Ross because Adin Ross talked about a woman or a black lady, okay, that he doesn't have any affiliations with, okay? What did I just say? I just said Dolce is not a Crip, Glasses Malone is a Crip. So she's not even your gang sister, okay? And then on top of that, you guys are not even on the same label. You're not with Kendrick Lamar's label team, TDE, right? Although he is friends with Dre, right? Through family connections of some sort, right? But he's not in the Aftermath label, so he has no correlation or deep ties with this woman other than the fact that she's black. And so you're going to go after Adin Ross, a guy who will call the police, a guy who has extra security. You're going to do all that because he made fun of a black lady, right? He says Kendrick is so ungodly, overrated. He sounds terrible. I tell you what, man, listen, you know, music is subjective, right? If you think he sounds terrible, there's 20 other people that are going to like it and then 20 other people that are not. That's just what it is. Ghost Samurai says, do you know any of you know Big Keen? He opened up for Outkast back in the day. No, I do not. Please elaborate. Tony Soprano, he says, don't high testosterone males know how to spell you? I don't understand what you mean by that. Don't high testosterone know how to spell you? Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to with that, but okay.
Front of the public, what in the world? I don't give a which one of these people you think you cool with. I don't give a you cool with the president.
Which he is. Obviously, that is the reference and reason why he said that. He says, I don't care if you're cool with the president. Yeah, he's definitely tied in with the president for sure. So, all right.
You're not. Y'all, I don't know what the thing happened to where y'all exist in this space, bro, and y'all keep doing this on Pumpkin. We all ain't streamers. We not all streamers. We all don't care about maintaining a relationship. I don't care that you successful. That don't mean nothing.
He says, we're trying to get Kyrie a fight with MMA Guru. It was on Twitter for a while. Yeah, bro, listen, I really would love to fight MMA Guru because there's just so much... well, look, here's the thing, right? I do have a lot of hatred and animosity towards him, but I also like his channel as well, all right? And that is what you call emotional intelligence. A lot of people don't have that, right? I can tell you that I think MMA Guru is the best MMA streamer, and he is. But at the same time, just like Orlando Anderson, the killer of Tupac, Tupac was also his favorite rapper. And there is a reason why I wanted to have deep silence of that when I just told you that, right? My favorite MMA streamer is MMA Guru. He says, why would Guru fight a nobody? Yeah, you're right about that. You know, in that particular aspect, I am, I wouldn't say I'm a nobody, right? Well, I mean, at least in terms of, you know, the bigger YouTube space of things. Yeah, you know, I'm not that. I have a following. You know, that's good enough for me. I have street credibility. You know, people know me in the streets to, you know, do certain things, but that's a different level of popularity that doesn't necessarily translate to online, although sometimes it can help, but, you know, it's not a guarantee. But you're right. You're right. Why would MMA Guru fight a nobody, though? You're absolutely right about that, right? I don't think that he would fight anyone, period. Not anyone in that space. I don't think that he would even fight, you know, True Jordy. Right, I think, yeah, you know, True Jordy is probably more of, you're right up his alley. Because the most that I could really fight at is, you know, at 185, you know, maybe, you know, at best 205, right? I fought as low as 155 back in 2012, right? But as a heavyweight, I'm not a real heavyweight, right? Although I think that I have enough weight and enough speed and enough strength to neutralize MMA Guru in his 6'3" frame. You know, I truly believe that, and I think that, you know, he doesn't have the experience that I do. So he says, Guru fought MMA Joey. I saw the video. Haters say it's AI. Right, like you're the real Tony Soprano coming back from the dead. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 right? You know, real blasphemous stuff we're getting into with that. But yeah.
I know you from Visalia. I know where you at, and I know your people. That fast. Everybody in the streets have told me where you at. You from my mother state, and you playing. You can't call whack. You can't call the president. Can't nobody stop me from doing what I want to do. So I'm telling you again, stop disrespecting that flame. You can make all the content. I'm going to get next to you.
All right, so that's an interesting point he said, right? Obviously, keep in mind, Adin Ross is friends with the president. He said the president can't help you. He's right. Because guess what the president is doing right now? The president is way busy. Did you guys see Trump, right? How cooked he looked. By the way, I'm going to segue this into Venezuela, right? Let's get off this street stuff and into, you know, real big boy shit when it comes to world geopolitics. He says, this guy's talking must have high testosterone. He talks very loud. This guy talking must have high testosterone. He talks very loud. Oh, you're talking about Glasses Malone. No, Glasses Malone is a complete fat ass, right? You know, no disrespect to Cuz, you know what I mean? But he's not exactly, you know, the most fit crip out there, right? But it doesn't mean that he won't, you know, put action into the motion if he really wanted to. But, you know, no, that's just a fact, right? I don't, you know of Glasses Malone to be, you know, a guy that busts down on the program, you know, as they say, right? You know, they say, you know, when you bust down on the program, a lot of these dudes, you know, do like burpees together. You'll often see like Crips, you know, essays, you know, they'll do like burpees. You know, they often like have to hit their you know, this is what they do before they hit the burpee. They go like, you know, and then they start doing a burpee, like, you know, hitting like their you know, their waistline or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you know, sometimes yeah. But he is very angry at Adin Ross. But
you got fights coming up. You try to promote fights. I'm gonna get next to you.
There it is. He said, you got fights coming up. I'm gonna get next to you, right? So in other words, he's saying that he's gonna go to Miami. What did Nick Suarez here say? Nick Suarez. What did he say here? Oh, I don't know. I don't see Nick Suarez's comments. Anyways.
All I ask you to do is respect that black lady. Do your job. Make your content. Stop calling this lady out her name. Y'all streamers keep finding ways to disrespect black people on it, and I totally get it. And y'all think, well, you know, they fight each other. It's not the same. You are a white man.
So in other words, he's saying, you know what? It's okay for us to fight each other, but it's not okay for you to come into this space and, you know, fight, you know, a black woman, right? He says, damn, Nick, that was a profound F. Yeah, what did Nick Suarez even say? He says, Scooby-Doo was right. The real monsters be the people for real. Okay. Okay, yeah, that is a profound statement. Yep, it is. It is.
I don't give a who you pray to. I don't give a if it's Abraham. I don't give a none of that. You are a white man. Boy, you better look at this camera. That's y'all problem. Y'all been playing these games, and that's how y'all socialize with humans. And you've been saying all this dumb behind this game. You, Neon, all these cornball, and y'all got all...
There it is. So that is, he says, I want to know what you were going to say about Trump. Yeah, right after this.
He said that with y'all because they think y'all can provide them some level of exposure. Because I don't care. I don't care. I'm not one of them. You better ask some of these about what I'm on. All I ask you to do is stop calling that lady out your name. Yes, call her Music Mac. That's your job. Do your job. Stop calling this black lady up. So then your next step is to call her.
All right, so here we go. Yeah, Trump looked cooked in this one, right? Like, he just looked so out of it. Yeah, let's hear this press conference.
There's a Harbor Freight store in your neighborhood where we sell hard-working tools that always work with any pro or DIY.
Because I was just told Nate seemed totally worn out and beat down.
Harbor Freight.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big stuff.
Beans and Rice says, let's lock in.
Late last night, And early today, at my direction, the many Americans, hundreds of
Look how cooked Trump
millions
looks.
of Americans died
He
because
looks
of him.
tired, man.
Maduro
Look
and
at
his
this.
wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American
He looks cooked.
Because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city pulling out of there when they need us, we'll know.
All right, let's go
We'll
to
know.
Maduro's
You'll be
court hearing. All right, so what it looks like right now is that we are looking at the courts, the court of where Maduro is going to be. He says, yeah, this video I saw too. So I think we are awaiting the arrival of Maduro here. All right, so yeah, not a lot going on here as of late. Let's do save this screen right now though. UN security meeting on Venezuela. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting right here. We got UN security.
Is from, and then it should be pretty easy for us to look this up. By the way, okay, hold on. I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up for you right now. Yes, it is close. Okay, so just to show you, thanks to our viewers, here you go. There is Crestview Hills, and there is Cincinnati. So it is not. I mean, roughly speaking, you're talking about 5 miles away. About 5 miles away from Cincinnati. So close by. Tim Ditt says breaking window news. Okay, so we talked about that. We got you caught up on that.
All right, not much going on here. Hold on a second here.
There are two certainties in life: death and tax.
He says that dude definitely doesn't have high T. Yes.
TaxAct filing software can only help you with this.
They're just like, they just take the risk. They're like, yeah, well, they should be noticed. Even if you sneak in on a getaway, there's a very good chance that you could be sent to CCOT. Is it worth it? Is it worth going to CCOT just by sneaking in the United States? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. We're live outside the Metropolitan Detention Center here. I don't know if we're going to see any more action. Kind of just seeing if there's any more feeds going up. They do have. Here, we'll go to the Colombia-Venezuela border here. We'll check it out here and just see what's going on. They got a live feed still up there at this border. They've been out here for days right here in this location. This is the port of entry, or the border between Colombia and
then there's
Venezuela.
There's the media right there.
Now, people fear if the country of Venezuela gets more destabilized, then more mass exodus of people will be coming across. They already got their tents and everything set up. More people will be coming across the border and sneaking across, but I don't even think the border's secure with Colombia. So this is just one of many spots people just cross in. I don't think Colombia necessarily secures their border all like that. So it's a live look. They got the Colombian military. Now, Colombia could be a next target. Colombia president said a couple weeks ago that they're blowing up all the cocaine plants every day. I don't know if the Trump administration believes them or not. There could be a conflict going on with Colombia very, very soon, possibly.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So obviously Trump now has set precedents into going after Venezuela. Iran is in that list. Cuba could be in that list.
I haven't been to the grocery store in months because this service.
Trump is really showing the the quintessential meaning of F around and find out, right? Because he is, look, regardless of whether you like it or not, or whether you think he's doing a good job or doing a bad job, I mean, the man is putting action into what he says he's going to do militarily. Says, I've had a speculation of things escalating between Israel and Iran, and Trump did this to protect the oil. So, yeah, man, I did some pretty good numbers on the other day. I did a separate live stream after the training session, right? Because what I did before the training session was a little bit of some brief synopsis of these particular topics, right? So afterwards, you know, I went for a walk at the Delta River, and I figured, you know what, why not just, you know, get in here and, you know, get in here and do it, right? You know, get in here and talk about it, elaborate on it some more. So some of the things that I said there was something to the effect of America needs oil right now, right? American economy is dwindling because people are just not going out spending, right? Like, for example, I live in Sacramento, California, right? I take trips down to LA all the time, right? But it's expensive. It's expensive to drive 7 hours from Sacramento to LA back and forth, right? So not a lot of Americans are doing that. That also goes for, let's say, if you live in Texas, right? There's just a lot of people that are not, you know, traveling around, you know, going to amusement parks, going to malls, buying things or this, that, and the other. I mean, it's just, it's the reality of the economy. So how do you change that? How do you get people moving? Let's lower down the gas prices. Well, so how are we going to do that? Well, let's go steal some gas. Right, and that's exactly what they did. So whether you agree with it morally or immorally, that is the fact that America is in an economic crisis, and they needed to move on somebody. That was the unfortunate reality, was that Venezuela was just there. Maduro had been slipping the whole entire time, and they decided, you know what? We're going to move in on him. He's weak right now. Why should we not move in on him?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio. What a wild weekend it has been with Maduro getting arrested, being ripped out by the U.S. Army's Delta Force. We're going to talk about that coming up in a little bit. Colombian president has reacted, and he is freaking livid. He is sending his troops over to the Venezuelan border as we speak. Reports are coming out on that right now. We've got explosions that are taking place over in Iran as we've been covering the color revolution that's been happening over there for the last...
Yeah, respectfully, no.
Several days now. Like, it looks certainly as if the Iranian regime is being toppled, and there's rumors that the Ayatollah himself, along with several other leaders from Iran, are trying to flee over to Russia, which would be the exact same thing we saw when Syria ended up falling. But before we get into all that, we're going to talk about Maduro, because he's already in the United States of America, and he is being trucked around. Check this freaking crap out as he's getting flown out to go over to his, how do you want to say, court trial. Right? Like, he's on his way this morning. They are wasting absolutely zero time with this guy, shipping his butt around the United States. And he's being paraded through the, well, I wouldn't say paraded through the streets of New York, but it's kind of a crazy day when we can track all of his movements. You guys can see him right here on this, like, Fox News coverage of being flown out. So they flew him to a particular location over in...
So this was approximately 30 minutes ago, I would say. Yeah. 30 minutes ago, fresh. This is like fresh 30 minutes ago, because it's 7:22 a.m. Eastern there, so that would be 10:22 West. It's 10:52 right now, so 32 minutes.
Inside of, like, New York, and then once they flew him over to you know, his little transfer point, if you will, to be trucked in via ground, which I've got videos for you guys as well of him going in. I mean, here you got him freaking landing, being taken off the aircraft. I mean, look at this crap, man. Just take a look at him being freaking shipped around. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that we could rip like the president out of his freaking country, take him over here to the United States, and then quickly get his butt issued off to trial. And I've read over his entire, it's like a 24-page indictment. The thing's long as hell. And I'm going to go over some key factors on there for you guys that speak to a lot of the things that I actually told you guys about that are within the indictments. And it's pretty freaking airtight, man. I mean, they've labeled out the different, different flights and everything that he was doing. The man used diplomatic passports in order to traffic money and drugs and things like that. Not just the United States, but also into Mexico, working with the Mexican cartels and everything else. And yeah, Senator Kelly, that's right, Senator Mark Kelly, his butt, and we'll get into that as well here in just a minute. Senator Mark Kelly, it looks like he's getting demoted just, I don't know, what, had to have been 45 minutes ago. It was when I was live on the air with InfoWars. They had came out, the Department of War, stating that Mark Kelly himself is getting demoted. All right, so I misstated over on InfoWars. I say he was a lieutenant general, which my brain just what a total brain fart on that one. I ended up doing a quick Google search for his actual current retired rank, and somehow ended up popping up with lieutenant general, which is nuts because the Navy doesn't even have lieutenant generals. But I just took that and went over and started speaking on it. Now, the man's a captain, was retired as a captain, so they're going to be busting him down a rank or two. Is he going to jail? Probably not. Could he, along with his rank being taken down? Absolutely, his rank, and he could go see jail time. But that's not what we're seeing out of there. And what you guys have up on your screen is Maduro being, shipped through the streets of New York to go stand trial for all of his crimes here in the United States of United States of America. Not in 2 minutes, and the pants check. Yeah, you guys were already pants checking me at, a couple minutes into the show, which is doesn't surprise me at all. You guys love your pants checks for whatever reason. I'm happening over inside Venezuela because inside of the United States, we got a bunch of leftists that are losing their mind.
Yeah, we haven't seen Fresh in a while. You know how it is, man. It's just random times of the day. Although when I do go in, much earlier than what I would go right now, he would usually be in here around that time. But yeah, all right. Anyways.
Fine, so I want you guys to see this. Actually, Brianna from InfoWars ended up sending me this clip earlier this morning, and I was like, of course, this is the West. How is the West this retarded that we do things like Maduro arrest? I mean, it's to me. Here, watch this. This is America.
Hands up, Venezuela! Hands up, Venezuela! Free President Maduro!
What the heck is he wearing, bro? What the What in the what? Who? Oh man, we're cooked as a society, bro.
Libertad, socialismo, o muerte.
Okay, yeah, so my man, listen. I tried speaking Spanish to, some of my essay homies, right? You know what they said to me? Hey, Holmes, you speak Spanish like you are gringo. Holmes, man, listen. I think I just found somebody who sounds more white than me speaking Spanish, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? He sounds way more white than me speaking Spanish. Yo, okay, let's hear this dude speak Spanish again. Hold on.
Libertad, socialist.
Libertad, socialist. He sounds Libertad Socialiste. It sounds French almost.
What the hell is that? Right? This is what the left in America. This is our transgender folks that are losing their minds. Some of you guys are saying no intervention needed over inside of Iran. I'm going to disagree maybe just slightly, because I would argue that we have already intervened. Have I seen the AI video of Diddy and Maduro? No, I haven't seen that one yet. Anthony says, one of these days the pants check will yield some results. Yeah, I mean, you guys might, the time is right, man. To be quite, yeah. When we take a look at Venezuela and what's actually going down on the street, Chavez, the gentleman that was in power prior to Nicolas Maduro after we ended up ripped the train that led was not illegal, led by the United States military. We had, Delta Force go in and rip this guy out. And there was federal agents on the ground, but I got a feeling CAG was just like, you guys are staying in the back of the stack, and when we find him, we'll
He says, you look great when you smile, bro. Well, I tell you what, man, there's very few things that make me smile, right? But transgender dude trying to speak Spanish and then trying to go, Viva la Revolucion! You know what I mean? It's so hilarious to me, right? I just can't help but laugh.
we'll let you know, right? Which is great. How's Rob doing? Rob's doing amazing right now, believe it or not. So anyways, back over to Venezuela because
I think that is the first time. There are a few times that I have, right? Well, yeah, you're right, man. Not a lot. I don't smile a lot, at least not in online, right? You know what I mean? Because I guess I'm just trying to fulfill the hyper masculine role of I'm the hardest nigga in the yard, yeah, cause I'm the hardest nigga in the yard, yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of just what I'm hardest nigga in the cause, yeah.
Trans activist. This is what people actually think over there on the ground. This is them dragging around that statue of Hugo Chavez. And again, we've got Colombia that's moving up to the border of Venezuela as we speak. And I've heard the same thing going on for some other countries surrounding Venezuela. You know what this clip speaks to me, down in my soul, especially when you look at the amount of people that are, trailing behind everybody that's going and dragging on over after them. Let's take a look here. You have thousands of people that have taken the streets over there in support of Maduro being ripped from power. And with him being ripped from power, oh, hold on. Oh, wow, excuse me. Bless me. All right, so with him being ripped from power, the people are celebrating. Because they've been oppressed for a very long period of time. The left, not happy because Trump ended up, executing, the actions that allowed this to happen. Well,
oh, that's his statue.
Make Iran.
Okay, let's hear about Iran now.
Right again. That 20. Can you check out audio from them? I know my stance on Lindsey.
Look at Lindsey Graham's gay ass. He's the gayest Republican ever. Lindsey Graham is the biggest FAG in the Republican Party. He's the biggest FAG in the GOP. The biggest FAG in the GOP. His name is Lindsey Graham, LG.
Graham, some of you guys don't. But none of that's important. I don't even have to play the audio from this, but I will out of transparency. This is Lindsey Graham over on Fox. I want you to check out the hat that Lindsey Graham's about to put on.
So I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that...
Oh my God. He says another low T individual. Facts. Look at this. Make Iran great again. Iran! Make Iran great again. Iran! Yo, by the way, speaking of Iran, what's up with this video of this Persian dude, right? There's techno music playing in the background. Oh, man, I'm looking at this. This is so Persian. He's like... just vibing to the music. Where is this video? Hold up. Let me see if I can find a video of this how would I even look for this? Iranian guy in a nightclub. Iranian guy in a nightclub. Where is this Iranian guy in a nightclub video? He says, do that thing again. No, you're going to have to rewind if you want to see that again. But I want to find the guy who actually, where is this video of this Iranian guy? Is this it? No, this is not it. Damn it, man. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you've seen it, return. The Persian dance. Is that okay? Is that how you look for his thing? Or hold on, let's see here. An AI-generated video featuring Mohammad Reza, the last Shah of Iran, has gone viral. Okay, so I think that's... Where do you find it then? Okay. Let's see here. How do you find this? Hold on a second here. No, this isn't it. Hold on. I know a channel. Hold up. I know a channel that had this. Let me get Lindsey Graham's gay ass up out of here. This British Persian streamer. His name is Tausi TV. He's like he's a bit of an anti, Islamist, right? But whatever. He's yeah, he's a British conservative. So let's see here. Okay, let's see if we can find the video here. Because, man, I really want to find this video because it makes me laugh seeing this dude, like, it's so, like...
Yeah, that is. And there we go. His car, quite proactive, hit, and even passion. Not only take control of a number of police regime to get... You have found this.
That's not it. Hold on, I'm still looking for this. Hold on a second, guys. He says, bro, seeing you do that dance was the hardest I've laughed in days. Oh, yeah. Because, dude, okay, well, you got to see the real thing then. You know what I mean? Because I'm just the emulation of it. And, oh, let's see here.
Toilet. That's good as well. Alright, let's just find out what's going on in Iran. More updates are coming in as we speak, more videos as well. And what is happening here? Okay, no. And there's a part. Okay, that. Unload the 2CTV app. IRGC have now
Damn it,
started.
man. I can't. Oh, hold on. Let me see here.
Welcome back to 2CTV, ladies and gentlemen, your global news channel. We have...
Damn it, why is it so hard to find this freaking video? Why is it so hard? He says, what's his name? I'll look too. Tusi. Let's see, wait, no, is this it? Hold on. The guy that made the no, that's not the guy that made the video, but that's the channel that I saw the video in. So damn, man, like okay, so the guy that's credited to that is Hamid Farouk Jahid. Let's see if we can find this right here. Man, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's okay, anyways, let's go back to Lindsey Graham.
That we make Iran great again.
And I pause. Make Iran great again. Lindsey Graham's eyeballing it. Now, to be fair, Lindsey Graham also suggested the other day that we start conducting military action against Cuba, which I think is a bit retarded. But as far as Iran goes, there's a very good possibility that that actually happens. I'm telling you guys, I'm laying out the groundwork for how all of these different countries actually use it, and we're starting to see it come to a head now that the U.S. market is getting crushed. Reports are now coming out. The internet over in Iran is a result of these uprisings has been cut off in several different locations. I want you guys to see this stuff, what's actually taking place on the ground over there. This, which is nuts, is a very short clip. It's about 45 seconds of protesters actually rising up against paramilitary and beating the freaking brakes off of them in the streets.
He says, I just seen a guy with Make Europe Great Again hoodie. What do you think of that? I think it's obviously an emulation of, Make America Great, but here's the thing, right? You can't apply American politics to European politics, right? Because we have two completely different political systems, right? Whether that is the American, Congress and Senate, as opposed to, let's say, the English Parliament, and then, dealing with MPs and whatnot. The same thing in Ireland, right? They have a completely different system as well when it comes to, these things. So it says to see someone wearing a hoodie like that in Ireland is so rare, my first time. Well, there are a lot of Irish people that do support Trump, right? I mean, take a look at Conor McGregor. He's like, the biggest Trump supporter ever coming out of Ireland, and that's why if he was to even run for a public office, as he said that he would, I would imagine that it would, receive the blessings of Donald Trump, as well as some kind of political ally in the region of some sort, right? Somebody that he's already built rapport with in the fight world.
So there's number one on that one. That's a freaking problem that's actually taking place where that guy's getting beat up. Yeah, I see the comment somebody just asked, did I see the flamethrower deal over inside of Iran? Yes, I did. I ended up sharing that yesterday. Let me get that up for you guys. That flamethrower video is freaking wild within itself. It's about 20 seconds. Let me get that up for you guys.
Oh, wow. Okay, check this out. Yeah, man. So there's a lot of crazy things going on in Iran as well as Venezuela. Let's hear what this little hat has to say right here.
By the United States Air Force, supported by like some of the best air assets, and have it locked down, sealed. Very, very good at smack. Moved would be my assumption. It is very possible that the U.S., in conjunction with Israel, might be going in to conduct a ground operation to bury that uranium once and for all. Now we know where it's being stored, and that we're going to send people in on the ground to kill everybody, send experts into those underground storage facilities to blow it up, exfil everybody, and then dump bombs on it to bury it. Regime is trying to flee right now. I think it's pretty plausible that it's going off. And then check this out. This video, let's look at the skyline real quick. It was initially reported as an explosion, and now I'm being told that it was a fire. Regardless, what I'm also being told is that this is a factory that was hit, whether it was via drones, whether it was via sabotage, whether it was via people that were pissed off. But this factory was operated by the IRGC.
شهر سال آمول اتفاق افتاد میان دونشون 15 دی جان الان.
Awesome. So now we're seeing the same things happen pre-12-day war happening today. Pre-12-day war, we saw stuff exploding. We thought the bombings were taking place. We thought Israel was attacking. We thought the United States was attacking. We thought all sorts of stuff because of images like this that are up on your screen. And right now, we're seeing the same thing that is starting to unfold over inside of Iran. And we've got the holes.
When Samurai says that he dislikes the British crown or European crowns, he's also referring to other royal families around Europe, right? There are other countries out there that still have a monarch. For example, Spain has a monarch, right? I believe it is headed by King Philip right now, I believe. Or no, I think maybe that was during the time of Columbus. But anyways, yeah. They have a king in Spain. They have kings in, I believe, Finland, and, you know, even in other Norwegian countries. So, yeah.
Stage is set up for it with Venezuela popping off, with southern Lebanon popping off, with Yemen popping off.
So, in other words, the whole entire Middle East is on fire right now, right? Obviously, Yemen is cracking right now because the Saudis are down there conducting bombing raids. Right, and then you have on, the Israeli side of things, you know, you have Turkey fighting with the Islamic State. You have the Taliban fighting with the Islamic State. I mean, man, the Middle East is on fire right now, right? He says, me and you are a cool host. Okay.
China coming out making statements that they are going to do everything within their legal authority to figure this out. That they are not going to take this lying down over inside of Venezuela, which means we might have a frickin' standoff with China sometime in the very near future. And they use the term legal. So they're looking at it. What's happening over inside of Iran is a great blow to China, and it's a great blow to Russia. And with Trump talking about Greenland, securing that sucker, going after that, we've got things that are coming in the pipe. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States government might not be admitting to it, but on the world stage, we are positioning ourselves for something greater and something bigger as it goes down. And yet,
that's right. Don't forget about Greenland. So obviously, Trump is trying to get Greenland because it's a strategic move, right? You get to keep an eye on Europe. You get to keep an eye on Russia. It's a strategic matter to which they are operating under. All right, so we're going to have just a couple more minutes left before we end the stream. Just a couple of things I wanted to go over before that, and then we'll just freestyle a bit for the next 8 minutes or so. Okay, so UFC 324. Let's take a look at the card that we have going on for UFC 324, right? So obviously we have Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett. That's going to be the main event. Let's focus just on the main event for now. Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. So this is Justin Gaethje's last hoorah, right? He had the opportunity to become interim champion during the pandemic, in which he did. Now he has that opportunity again against Paddy, but I don't know, man. I feel like Paddy is the favorite in this one. The co-main event, you got Kayla Harrison taking on Amanda Nunes. Obviously, Amanda Nunes coming back from retirement. Kayla Harrison proving why she is the best women's fighter in the world currently right now. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. The best women's fighter right now versus the legend of women's fighting, which is Amanda Nunes. Also, on the rest of the card, you got Sean O'Malley taking on Song Yadong. That's a good matchup for the bantamweight division. Waldo Costa taking on Derek Lewis. Man, really moving up the ranks he is right now, isn't he? Right, really moving up the ranks. If he gets a win over Derek Lewis is the quintessential dark horse. Not only the dark horse, but the gatekeeper of the heavyweight division. You think Song is going to wrestle O'Malley? He should. Yes, that is the plan. That's actually exactly what Uriah Faber is telling him to do. So, that's, yeah, Jean Silva. This is a good one versus Arnold Allen. tried giving him Rico Verhoeven to Derek Lewis. Yeah. Did he say no to that, or was it Rico Verhoeven? I would imagine it's Rico Verhoeven that, you know, said no, but it would be a good matchup for him, right? Derek Lewis doesn't try to shoot a double leg on you. He don't do none of that. So, I don't know, man. You know, if it was Derek Lewis that, if it was Verhoeven that refused that, that would have been, you know, unintelligent on his part. So, Jean Silva versus Arnold Allen. More reason why the featherweight division is stacked right now, right? I might have to go with Arnold Allen on this one. Much more well-rounded, right? And then he trains with Faraz Zahabi, so he's definitely a well-rounded fighter. So, Rose Namajunas taking on Natalia Silva. I'll probably go with Rose on this one by decision. Just going to outpoint her. This is a good one. Omar versus Davison Figueroa, and not even in the pay-per-view portion. But then again, there's no pay-per-views anymore. There's just main cards and prelims, and that's it. Great matchup for Omar, obviously. A former champion. That's a good resume for him, you know, under his belt. And, oh, man. This dude right here, right, from Cameroon. This is like the 185 version of Francis Ngannou taking on Andre Poliev. Very interesting 185 matchup. Very interesting. Alex Hernandez taking on Michael Johnson. So, a little bit of some veterans here at the lightweight division. Nikita Krylov taking on Modestas Bukauskas. Yeah, that's a good one right there. Very competitive light heavyweight division. I mean, you know, you got Bukauskas, who sort of had this journey going on, right? He had to go back to Cage Warriors and then back to the UFC again, very similar to Nikita Krylov. He had to do the same thing as well. Alex Perez taking on Charles Johnson, building up the 125 division. Denzel Freeman, heavyweights. So we got some new heavyweights in the scene right now. Josh Hockett, 7-0 versus 7-1. Pretty interesting heavyweight matchup. Ricky Turquoise taking on Cameron Smotherman. Okay, so that's an interesting bantamweight fight. And that's it. That's it for that one. Obviously, after that, there's UFC 325, which is going to consist of Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. And by the way, keep in mind, the main card starts at 6, right? So you got Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis, Mauricio Ruffy, right? How about this? They were talking about having this guy fight Conor McGregor at the White House. He's going to take on Rafael Fiziev. Tai Tuivasa taking on Teixeira. Jimmy Crute taking on Dustin Jacoby. Killian Scarlett taking on Zhu Rong. Junior Tafa taking on Billy Elakenta. Cameron Broston taking on Cody Brundage. Jacob Malkoon taking on Torrey Finney. Jonathan Metcalf taking on Oban the Welsh gangster Elliott. And then you got Aaron Tao, Narmar taking on, yeah, these, just a whole bunch of names that I can't pronounce, okay? That's the rest of the prelims for the next week coming up. And then you got Adam22 taking on Jason Luv just the day before UFC 323. Okay, so, by the way, this is real. There is an actual fight poster for this. Okay, so just so you guys know, there's an actual fight poster for this, which sort of correlates to the whole entire live stream of Adin Ross, right? So there it is, right? This is really going on. This is really going on. So, yeah. Okay, so Adam explains why he's taking this fight. Let's hear what he has to say here.
News, Adam Adam22, aka the 22 Sir, aka the White Truth. I am going to be facing Jason Luv on January 23rd in Miami. Very excited. I know what you're thinking. Adam, that sounds insane. You only have 3 weeks to get ready. Here's the thing that you guys aren't considering. I've been getting ready my whole life. I've been in the gym. I've been training. Listen, this guy Jason Luv, he's big. He's muscular. Kind of looks like one of them Greek statues, minus the whole African-American part. But I got better cardio, I think. And I got heart. Because that dude fucked my wife. So, when I show up in Miami for that fade, the same fade that a certain one-nubbed man wouldn't give me. So, by now, I'm sure you guys have all seen the news. I, Adam22, a.k.a. the 22 Sir, a.k.a.
All right, so...
Just know, I'm out for blood.
There it is. So he said he's out for blood. So here's the thing about this, right? Adam cannot lose this fight. The reason why he can't lose this fight is because, well, you're taking on a guy that has violated you in some kind of degree. And here's the thing, he doesn't care. A lot of people are outraged by this, but at the same time, this is a guy who's shameless, who doesn't care about any of these things, that really is not fazed by him in any kind of way. So I don't think him losing would be fazed in any kind of way as well. It is actually Jason Luv that has the pressure on him. Does Jason Luv live like an athlete? Does he live a healthy lifestyle, or is he a party boy like what Adam claims? And if so, well, maybe Adam will have a better cardio. But I tell you what, this fight has a lot of intrigue behind it. I could understand why Adin Ross has decided to put this fight together, and rightfully so. But on any regard, guys, that is all that I have for this live stream. Let's do a little bit of a recap towards everything that we had talked about here, right? So we talked about Glasses Malone, the racial implications behind why he wants to go after Adin Ross. All right, we talked about that. We talked about, obviously, Adam22 and Jason Luv right now. We talked about Iran, Venezuela, and the UFC all rolled into one. And if you missed any of that, be sure to watch this from the very beginning all the way to the end. I will see you guys in the next one, inshallah.